Hello, everybody. And
Welcome back to the Neoliberal Round podcast and YouTube channel, and those for us who are joining live on Facebook, where we unpack bold ideas, uncomfortable truths, and complex questions at the intersection of policy, politics, and people. Today's topic: ending homelessness. That's right, ending it, not reducing it, not managing it. We're talking about ending it. It's a lofty goal in a neoliberal capitalist world where greed, inequality, and competition often leave the most vulnerable behind. Of course, I write about that. But one city commissioner and hotelier is proposing an unconventional solution. And whether you agree or not, it's an idea that's making waves. That is making waves. So joining us today is the man himself, Claudio Bono, commissioner for the city of Cupertino, hotel entrepreneur, I believe, non-profit veteran, and founder of givearoof.org. And of course, he has tweeted his support for Trump's cuts to homelessness programs. Yes, that's Trump, which immediately drew fire from progressives and liberals. But Claudio says those cuts didn't inspire cruelty in him. They inspired creativity. So the question is, could this airline points based housing model be the spark we need? Or is it just another swing in the dark or a swing at a dartboard? So, Claudio, welcome to the Neoliberal Rounds. And let's start with the basics. Who is Claudio and what's your plan to ending homelessness?
in order for everyone to understand, and everyone has tons of questions, and rightfully so, you have
Yes.
to understand my little background. And I'll just tell you, my life has always been hotels.
Yes.
I was calculating this. I've 27 years in Europe, 15 years in Miami, including 18 months in Philadelphia, and now 11 years this month in California. So
Okay.
you guessed it, I'm 53 years old.
Uh-huh.
But I've been touring the world, and my life is
Yeah.
hotels and airlines. And so
Okay.
the idea of using not only airline miles, but loyalty hotel points from major brand is a breakthrough. Simply because I'm inspiring myself on my own story and what I did a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
where I do walk my rescue dog every day to the park, and
What's your
Cooper
dog's name? What's your dog's name?
Bella.
Bella. Okay. Oh,
I'll
wow. That
send
was
you a
my
picture
dog's
of
name. Okay.
her.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah.
And you have to understand, Cupertino is the heart of Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
home of Apple headquarter. And nearby, you have Google headquarter. You have all the new AI company, NVIDIA, you name it. You have Stanford University. So I'm just trying to show you a little bit how picturesque this city is, where you
Yeah.
have innovative and surrounded by millionaire, billionaire, all of that. So it's a well-known destination worldwide.
Yeah.
And we're only basically 20 minutes from San Francisco International. So imagine, since after COVID, we've had a surge of homelessness everywhere throughout the country, including Silicon Valley. And so I was walking my dog, and then I saw a younger man sitting in the park where I walk my dog on a mattress. So
Yeah.
first and foremost, I was a little bit taken aback by the fact that he was very young.
Yeah.
It did not fit the stigma or the idea of what a homeless person is, and the media unfortunately has not played well in reporting fentanyl crisis in the Tenderloin district in San Francisco. And all of a sudden you may think that homelessness in America equal only San Francisco. And I have to tell you, I was in New Zealand last month, as well as three cities in Australia and in Europe as well. My life is traveling nonstop to promote Silicon Valley hotels that I represent, including the Vidovich Winery. And I have to tell you, it's everywhere. It's a global crisis. But here in the United States, we would think it is just specifically California, and it isn't so. There's so much falsehood, stigma, negativity surrounding it. rightfully so, because we're all in the, I will be the one telling you, we're all fearing to become one day homeless. So you have two way of seeing it. Either you don't want to see it, you don't want your kids to see it, you're afraid of whether they are what we believe from the media, they're either crazy, insane, on drugs. And here I am walking my dog in my city of Cupertino, and I see a younger guy. And I had two choices, either ask something or not.
Yeah, yeah,
That besides being a hotel manager for two hotels, it's been 11 years. I'm with nonprofits. I am with the Chamber of Commerce, former president and current vice president. I am also with the Rotary, always nonstop and at homeless shelters, helping and doing the very best I can. I'm always helping my community, students and kids going back to school with backpacks. So I've been always with nonprofits, including the Historical Society. So you name it. And so I'm somewhat am a shy person,
yeah,
but when I see someone in need, I'm trying to help because I would want this to happen to me should I be in need. So I had two choices and I did ask. I said, may I speak with you? Do you have a moment? I know it's kind of weird to say that, but I didn't know. No one ever knows how to interact with a homeless because you never know if they're willing to talk to you, if it's a right moment, if they're psychologically willing to address that or
yeah,
talk about it freely. And then here I am talking to him, and he's a 23-year-old man who had moved from Florida with his mom 4 years prior. His mom had remarried, died in a car accident, and the stepfather put him on the street because he was gay and because he didn't want to work, take care of it. No cell
yeah,
phone, no cash. And you realize that people are keeping on judging so fast and they're saying, don't they know where the YMCA is? Don't they know where the shelters are? How? If they don't even have devices, if they don't have way of getting a city maps
yeah,
are
yeah,
of the past, and no one is looking at them. Sometimes you are totally invisible. So I genuinely spoke with him, and I felt bad about his story. And but you also interact. It takes someone to interact with someone to realize where they are mentally. I am not the certified therapist. I am not the psychology person, but based on the conversation with someone, you have an idea whether that person is actually down to earth, genuine, honest, and you can feel the pain, and
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't sit there and said nothing. So, like I said earlier, my life is travel. So I do stay because sometimes delegations needs to stay in specific branded hotels because that's where the conferences are being held. So automatically I do have points. So I asked him one thing. I said, "Would you trust me?" And I said, "There." I pointed out where the YMCA is. I said, "Go ahead and go over there. It is open. Take a shower. I'll meet you there." Because I had my dog, I had to make sure that she was done walking and feed her. But already wanted to make sure that I get some clothes that would fit him because I do have a lot of clothes. But I met him. I told him that I would meet him at the YMCA, and less than an hour later, I managed to do so. But in the
yeah,
interim, I had an opportunity in my head. The only thing that can come up, and because I'm well versed with those loyalty points and upgrades and airline miles, so what can I do? I had enough points to book him for 10 nights at our local Marriott. And that's what I did. I put it on my name, booked the 10 nights, and it cost me only points that I had readily available. So I placed it, boom, done. With Marriott.com or Expedia, you can see which
Hold on,
hotel.
you're telling me that you through just a casual experience, you and meeting a homeless person, you were able to come up. I know that's where you're leading us. You were able to come up with this innovative idea. You used your points and was able to help this young
Yeah,
guy.
but I just want to tell you that I didn't realize yet what I had done and what has
Mhm.
happened.
Yes,
So I booked him at the hotel. I said, I have enough points. I'm not using cash, which is a great thing. So I went to pick him up. He changed. He looked good and presentable. That's important. And
Okay.
fresh, not smelly, and no bags, no stigma of Safeway carts. When I say Safeway, it's the Publix for you guys. I think it's the grocery store. That's the name we have in California. And
Okay.
so I mean, and again, it's a leap of faith. It's also understanding that they are right in the mind, that they are like you and I were conversing, and we're somewhat have some type of intelligence. We can talk, right? So I couldn't stay still and do nothing. So what does it cost me? 10 room nights, and if something would have wrong, I could have canceled. I could cancel it all and get back my points. So at the end of the day, we went to the hotel. I checked him in with my name, and I added him as a sharer on the reservation. And yes, I understand liability, opportunities, but you know what? You got to control it. So I
Yeah.
kept in touch with him every day. And what it did, one, it removed him from the street. Two, give him a roof over his head. Three, it has been weeks that he hadn't had a bed. And that was very important to me. And you could tear up because it's so unfair. Silicon Valley being one of the most expensive cities in the United States, more expensive than zip code of Beverly Hills, and yet we have a 23-year-old in the park on the mattress, and it's inconceivable anywhere else. So every day he had breakfast. That was part of the package,
Okay.
obviously. Refreshments during the day. I would bring him food every day, keep in touch with him. After 8 nights, he informed me that he was able to reconnect with his distant cousin because he had internet, and also they have an area where you do have a computer set up where you can print your boarding pass, blah, blah, blah. So people and guests can actually peruse through those PCs. And that's how he reconnected with his cousin in Florida. And eight
Yes.
nights later, he was able not only to get a flight ticket sent by his family, but a new vision for the rest of his life to move out of California, not being homeless again, reconnected finally with his distant family, where he was not able to do so because he didn't have any phones or any connections whatsoever to look for and to search for and hope. So here we are after 8 nights, refreshed, with a new opportunity, and I brought him to the airport and he left. We still keep in touch. And less than a week later, that's where it clicks to me. Not
Yes.
only I got notification from Marriott that I got elite qualifications for the 10 nights that I provided because I reached a higher level. Because with Marriott, if you have enough points, those points that you exchange towards free nights do count towards your qualification to
Yes.
become, for me, it's ambassador. But you can be gold, platinum, all of that, and you accumulate the room nights, right?
Yeah.
But you find out that, it's been 5 years that we're struggling worldwide in
But
hotels.
before hold on, I'm interested to know a little bit. So what has become of that young man?
Oh, this young man is working at the post office.
Okay.
He does
Okay.
work at the post office, but I do want to make sure that I also keep his privacy.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
I
because
understand.
that's
Yeah.
one, you have to understand it's not easy to admit that you were a homeless to begin with. It's
Yeah.
pride. If he wants to talk about it, by all means, I would give him the opportunity to do so, but it has to come from him. I would not want to, some
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
building their life, and the last thing I want to do is bring any type of shame, because shame
Yeah.
exists, and
Yeah,
pride
that's true.
and ego and all of that exists. But understand this, and you have to get it. I work in hotels. Since the past 5 years, since COVID, occupancy has been down like there's no tomorrow. That's why I'm traveling nonstop in order to generate groups, occupancy, and to stay afloat.
Well, I mean, I know, and I want to probably towards the end of this podcast, I want to talk about occupancy in the hotel. Maybe I know that's off topic, but
No, no,
I am
it's not because
yes.
it tells you what's going on, the reason
In
why.
the yeah, because many people are not. I heard that people in the UK they're not traveling to the US since the tariffs were announced. I don't know if that's affecting the hotel industry. And I know you are a hotelier. You
Everything,
manage several
everything.
hotels. Yeah.
We are 5 years later after COVID. Apple is still working 3 days a week. It's not like it used to be. They used to have billions of dollars of travel budget a year and bringing people all over the world to Silicon Valley. It's not happening. So you have empty hotels. So
Okay.
few days later, I saw that I got elite qualification, which means also the hotel got occupancy and the city got their transit occupancy tax as well. So I realized then that it was a win-win for all because the person was not only presentable, he was a guest. He was,
Yes.
he was occupying the room safe. And what happened at the end is that we have one less homeless. I got credit for it. The city got their money for it. The hotel got their money for it. It's a win-win for everybody. So why not join forces with hotel loyalty points and airlines miles, which today you do. If you Google it, can I convert my miles to cash? Yes, it is. You can do that. Can you donate miles to nonprofits? Yes, you can do that. But as a city commissioner who last week, 2 weeks ago, we had a city commission where I do see we had 15 presentations from nonprofits who are asking for grants to each city. So it happens throughout the United States, everywhere. And so they present their case, and most likely they do get grants. Either is to provide free glasses to those who cannot afford it, free dentist visits, free clothes, free this, that, or even food banks. We help them. We give them grants that you have to give every year, period. So it's not free money. They're doing something for it, but they're helping people. So my idea of Give a Roof was created then in order to finally able to harness billions of points that also gets expired every year
So
and
so so you so giverroof.com is actually you are the founder of giverroof.com and it's actually
yes.
exists today. It's happening right now.
Yes, giverroof.org is a
.org, sorry.
nonprofit, but it's not, it's the idea is there. There's a patent pending as well, so that I can freely talk to the world about it without being afraid that China is going to steal it. I'm just kidding. Um, but I want to make sure that you have to understand that we live in a society where everyone judges everyone or feel that in this day and age of TikTok where the attention span is 30 seconds, right?
Yes.
That if you talk about any subject, anyone will tell you immediately something because they just want to throw it out there, but no data, no experience needed. They just want to throw their either positive or, but most likely negative comments about it because they only see it based on what the media or what they have seen and recently was about without any intelligence behind it. But I'm telling you, with this homeless crisis in California alone, just this week,
Yes.
there's a lot that happened in the news. The Attorney General is now finally looking into where the $24 billion went in Los Angeles alone.
That happened. I'm in Philadelphia, and that's actually I think that happened last year in Philadelphia, where they actually terminated an official for one of the housing projects. And we have a housing crisis here in Philadelphia, especially among
Everywhere, my
young
friend.
people as well. But I wanted to ask you a question, as it will earlier, some time ago, you drew the ire of some people on Twitter because you said recently, if I could find it. So I said I want to address the elephant in the room, which is the tweet about Trump. You said that something of the you applauded Donald Trump's um
Yes.
uh
The
cuts.
fact that
So,
he defunded the
yes,
some organization in regards to the homelessness, because
and
based
yeah,
on my experience in California, $37.8 billion in the past 6 years alone have been used, zero data, zero solution, and we do not know where the money went. You
Okay.
have to understand in Los Angeles alone, they are supposedly and only asking volunteers to count daily the type of homeless coming into the city. There is no database whatsoever. So when you go to the shop and you have something with your car, you have an idea of what the issue is so that you can tell the person to fix it. But how can you fix an issue if you don't know what the problem is to begin with?
So your idea is not to use federal funding.
Correct, with
Okay. Okay.
aligns with those, and again, I, that my idea came out over a year ago, way before
Yeah.
the new administration and Doge. We didn't know what Doge was about,
Okay.
but here we are with, if you ask 99% of the entire population of the entire United States, and let's estimate them to be 330 million based on the last data from 2021. 99% of all of them, millions of people, if you ask them, do you know where you can donate for the homeless crisis? All of them will tell you, no, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. And here we are with zero accountability. People are genuinely upset and rightfully so. There's something that needs to be done. So I do have a huge plan that, first of all, was my inspiration and it worked. And
Yes.
it's here's a untapped resource that is readily available. And yes, you also mentioned about comments on Twitter. Some people will say, well, if
Yeah, and
they're
I want to, yeah, and I do have it. Let me see, Nikki. Let's talk Twitter. Okay, Nikki, and I know we're live on Facebook, but I apologize. Nikki wrote, and your post have over 1 million or 2 million views and climbing. Nikki wrote
2.9 million today.
9 million,
Two,
nine
two, 2.9 million,
point nine million
close
views.
to 3 million, both tweets combined. Yeah.
But Nikki wrote, dude, when they cut homelessness spending, it's cause this admin don't give don't and you I think don't give a flying F
Hmm?
about the homelessness, about homeless. And
They
then
don't give a fucking fudge.
Joe added, you can applaud Trump all you want about the cuts, but he's not doing it to solve a problem. He's just being mean. What's your response? What made you see the opportunity where others see cruelty?
Well, first and foremost, again, this is not for me. This is
Yeah,
not political. It's a human assistance. We need to make sure we're helping them. So we know that the past $37.8 billion didn't fix anything. And I want to make sure you're still there.
I'm
You
still here.
still,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't fix anything. So when I say I applauded our president, sorry about that. When I applaud our president to remove the funding, it is because specifically based on my experience, as well as so many trying and helping a nonprofit, those funds are mismanaged or
Okay.
not accounted for. It's only on that perspective that I applauded our president. And now people don't like him. People do. And at the end of the day, I'm an American. I'm here to help people in need. And I do applaud that effort of removing and defunding areas that is still not working because, coming back to what we said, there is not a viable solution out there. What they do in California for the past 6 years is the states send money everywhere. And now our governor Newsom says, now it's up to the cities.
Uh,
But now you are multiplying the issue because the cities or mayors, they still don't have the viable idea behind it on how to fix it. Like we say in Europe, it takes a village.
yeah.
My aim is to ensure that, my solution is multifaceted. It's not just the funding, and it's an easy calculation. Again, and I'll be very fast so that you understand this. $37.8 billion in California and 800 million was added 2 weeks ago. We don't know where that go, this and that. If I take 5% of the American population to donate miles and points, it's a minimum of $25 billion annually that we can generate. Annually. Keep in mind also, I know we throw out numbers and billions here, but the truth is billions of points expire every year. People would love to donate it rather than not use it, or simply able to be part of the program. And every night you go to certain channels, you would see a Sarah McLachlan song that together with cats and dogs, poor dogs and cats, they are dying. We need to feed them. But there is no such thing for the homeless, right? So we worry and we provide more billions of dollars for animals, but we're not doing a thing for human beings. It doesn't work for me. So what I did is literally a 15 chapter book that I'm trying to publish, and I offer multiple solutions. One, I have the funding and how to fund it without it to be the taxpayers' money. Two, we need to have a bigger vision in unifying the tech industry, because as a city commissioner, I realized one thing. You can have, in my city alone, we had this year 15 presentations, but I got it from 15 different nonprofits. But you know what thing is not working? There's zero understanding between themselves. They're all within the region, but one food bank doesn't connect with another food bank. They both getting individual grants and funding. What about an IT system that would put them together like a hotel RFP, where one would notify someone somewhere, hey, I'm short X amount of tons or kilos of food. Another one says, here, I have the ability to provide time and energy to help out getting database in certain time of days. So there is no synergy. So an IT system needs to be created specifically for nonprofits so that they can help each other and make it collective, not
Wow,
an.
wow, wow. No, this is powerful. What you have said is quite powerful. You are saying that non-profits need to come together, and non-profits are coming together, but not in the ways you are suggesting right here.
Correct.
You are suggesting not in terms of non-profits are working together in terms of service delivery, but not in terms of resource sharing.
Exactly.
Resource sharing. This is interesting.
I still have two big points that I could tell you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever traveled on
Yes,
a
yes,
plane?
I have.
Have you ever been in a lounge? For example, I travel United. Have you ever
No,
been to
I'm.
United
No,
Lounge?
yes,
Any
yes. I,
lounge.
I travel United. Actually, I do travel United.
You know what they have?
Yes,
They have a reception area. They
yeah.
have a food area. They have a rest showers area, changing area, and a rest place, a quiet place for you to sit. Why
Yes,
don't
yes.
we dignify homelessness and create a new vision where these fundings could help developers, builders, create those type of environment where they could be received, get a part of a fully database. So who enter a database with who you are, your name, your sex, gender, the reason why you are homeless. Are you able to re-enter society? So we can create those specific lounges type in order in each cities. And not only that, but economically, we're providing jobs. We are building, we are also turning homelessness into something a little bit more dignified. And we are actually preparing people that are willing to re-enter society to have a future. So the data components in there is what our governor and the United States and the world has been killed for. No one knows why people are really homeless. Everyone in this day and age are providing their 2 cents that no one asked, which isn't true. Either some people I've heard on Twitter, they don't want to be part of society, they prefer drugs, they prefer alcohol, they prefer to live under the government's help. None of that is true. Did you know that I met mothers thrown out or by their spouse? Some in Los Angeles, we have almost 10,000 kids on the street. Where do you think that narrative fits? When you tell people we have kids on the streets, students sleeping in their bedroom, veteran who almost died to protect our freedom, they need our help. So you got to think a little bit intelligently and turn things around So we have a funding, we have opportunities to have those kind of welcoming lounges that can take care of it. And guess what? We can bring universities and school. You know why? They need to practice dental assistants. They need to practice on people. They can do that for homeless people, people that are trying to go to school to learn how to cut hair and this and that. They can practice on people instead of mannequin. So you're unifying schools as well so that they can provide their services also to the homeless. Resume review, right? We have what we call in Silicon Valley hopper. It's a free transportation. We can bring them from point A to point B for interviews and to get jobs, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
can even hire them to also be part of the solution. So there is no unification, there is no synergy, and that's what I'm trying to do with that.
Let me ask you a question though. Maybe there's no unification because just as though for-profit companies are competitive in the non-profits, they are competitive in terms of trying to get
Well, this day and age,
fun-
nonprofits is still
funding,
profit.
the funding. But I want to, but the non-profits must hate you though, because here you are saying that no, we can develop a program that does not rely on government funding, and right now many non-profits are funded by the federal government.
What's wrong with holding people accountable for what they do? They could still get funding. And again, when I say givearoof.org, it's a thought. Now, is the government wants to handle it, I would be handing over to them as a silver platter. Do something that makes sense. So, and again, my aim also is to continue give grants, government grants, but at least they would get some money back as well. And by doing the way I'm suggesting to do, cities and hotels and they would get their money, their TOT taxes. So it's money being dispatched, but that money that comes back as well. Those fundings that we could potentially get from donation would allow us to build centers and hopeful centers that will rehabilitate people in need, even providing funds for putting deposits for apartments. The sky is the limit,
Let me
right?
ask a question. By the way, for those of us who are just who are joining live on Facebook, we're speaking with Claudio Bono. Claudio Bono is a city commissioner in Cupertino, California. He's also a hotelier and executive. He's the founder of the givearoof.org. He has made some comments and came up with an innovative idea that has generated over 2.9 million views and rising on the X platform. And we have him right here talking on the show with us. But and I have a question for you.
Sure.
Um, let's talk transparency. Candid wrote on Twitter, the model is already in place under Habitat for Humanity. I'm highly suspicious of givearoof.org. Please give me a breakdown of CEO pay and admin costs. And
Yeah.
you already answered this question, but answer it for those questions on Facebook, people on Facebook who might have those questions.
The CEO of that idea is me. The pay that I have, including these past 11 years combined, equals zero. This is not about when you enter and you live and breathe nonprofits and you give your time to help and feed the homeless and try to solve an issue that is in front of you. You know, like I said, I do not pay attention anymore to posts from anyone that just provide their 2 cents just to provide a line because they're behind their desk and all they can do is just type in being negative instead of seeing the light.
Yeah.
But if can you imagine if we would be all paying attention to that, no one would be helping anymore or trying to be kind to one another. So, judging you can. Two, I'm simply providing a solution that no one else has provided and
Yeah.
a viable one that would make everybody work, everybody win, and then would treat people with respect. What's wrong with that? I understand skepticism, but there's a time where in the society where we come up with something every second to just say something and no one pauses anymore and think. And I have to tell you, between you and I, I've been so many times to shelters these past years. You know what they don't have, for instance? Bunk beds. Not enough bunk beds. And you know what they say? It's the state regulation. I spoke to many mayors. They're shackled. There's nothing they can do about it. And I found that outrageous. And now we're not talking about 2 or 3 level shelters, right? It's one floor shelter with probably 6 or 8 exits, which is perfectly fine in case of fire. You have exits, but you have the opportunity to double or triple the capacity. And but mothers, you have to understand mothers don't like to stay there because they're afraid, they're surrounded by other men, they're not separated. Some people are truly fearful of shelter. So when you talk about now, we're talking about in San Jose, our mayor in San Jose wants to arrest those not homeless on top of it all, that don't want to seek shelters. There's a reason behind too. They don't feel safe. And so it's like I always said to myself, you've heard the Supreme Court justice decision to clear encampments, so out of
Yeah.
mind, out of sight. And in the end, I said to myself, let me ask. I should, if I had the opportunity to ask one Supreme Court justice, have you ever been to a homeless shelter? Most likely the answer is no. So how can we trust? And I respect the follow the law, this and that, but how can you base yourself with the fact that we are clearing encampments and again with horrible stories such as they've been removing those encampments, people have lost their birth certificates and IDs, and it's hard for them to replace. But have they ever been helping nonprofits? Do they know what it takes? And people can come up with decisions, but I see that no one has come up with a solution except me. And all it took for me is to think and see, but also living it and looking at it, taking the time to speak with homeless, being in homeless shelter, which by the way, they're always the first one to say, why are they calling us the unhoused? We're not calling it the unhoused shelter, but the homeless shelter to begin with. And I am a homeless. I'm not an unhoused.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone wants to be politically correct, but at the end of the day, everybody think it's so sensitive. No, we gotta we have an opportunity here to
Yeah.
fix it. And I'm
And
pushing.
I'm getting a bunch of questions here. I have a question from someone here who says that, and the other that says, what makes your program? Sorry, somebody said the model that you're proposing seems to be in place already under Habitat for Humanity, and they're asking, in terms of how does your structure avoid the same pitfalls as other nonprofit housing efforts? What's the real difference?
Well, first and foremost, there is no such program in place with Habitat to begin with, because then as I would say a guru in marketing, it's not well marketed to begin with. Two,
Yeah.
people don't know. Three, it's very complicated. Picture this. If you are the CEO of Marriott, I would be able to talk to you. You would put it on your platform. They're not doing that anywhere else. People don't understand how easy it is to transfer your miles or points before also they expire, or if you want to donate. So if that exists, great, it's not working. Those lounge system and unification IT and the school district altogether providing their services for free to the help, that does not exist either.
Yeah.
So otherwise, really, Jesus, it's really silent, and 99% of the entire population is not aware of it. And if it was working, we wouldn't have homeless people in the street. We would not. And I think we need to be a little bit more compassionate too. And again, like I say, I go back to the stigma. They're all on the drugs and this and that, and that's all they want. They like that because now the new story we hear on the streets is that people don't want shelters. It's not true. They want a safe place, and the goal is to have housing. But you know what? Having an untapped resource like that is going to help developers to build as well more affordable housing for all.
And
So
Michael, someone named Michael, just sent me a question for you. Hold on, let me bring it up here. Michael said, does your program include giving medical, drug and alcohol programs, providing shelter, housing, meals, jobs? I think you already answered that somewhere else, and you did say And I think, and is it similar to something like Philly's recovery houses for the homeless affected by addiction and mental health?
Yes, and again, like I said, I yes, there are some addiction going on, and I've said it even on Twitter. Picture me on the street. I would love to be on drugs if I'm on the street because I would want to forget. But would I want to clean up knowing that I have a true opportunity to get out of there and being helped? The answer is yes too.
Yeah.
I It's hard to be on the street. It's very hard. And
Yeah.
mental health is important, but people forget that they spent 37.8 billion in 6 years, and here we have an opportunity to minimally do 25 billion dollars. So Governor Newsom has set aside $1 billion dollars for mental health. We can expand that. And funny enough, my sister is also a life coach. We do have millions of life coach on standby that would love to help, and the nonprofit can help as well. We would have the fund to unify people and to make a such an alphabet of how it works to make more plausible than currently it is used for, which is nowhere. I haven't heard of anything going on the mental health plan. Who does what? How? There is no information that has been given by the government to us. That's why we Americans as a whole, doesn't matter what affiliation you're in, you're upset about it because you want to do something about it. But you know what? Now, as a citizen, you are in the driver's seat because it's only up to you. If you want to donate your unused mile for a good cause before they expired, we can do the same with BJ's, like the restaurant. People want to donate points for food. Why not? It's a big movement. It's a bold idea, but you know what? Let's use what we currently have. Like they said, we have it in front of us, and I couldn't believe it's like, wow, we have this untapped resource that could be used for so many things and so many programs. We can have so many answers. But unfortunately, we also, and I realized based on the Twitter, you've seen that I've provided this and I tried to tag
Yes.
at the officials. It's not easy because I'm not known. I'm not this and that. This week alone, I'll just say this overall. I finally been contacted by a mayor from a very large city who saw the post on Twitter,
Yes.
and also a congressman. So, and that email that I got came directly from Washington. So, my hope is to break through initiatives that makes you think and that can change how we're seeing the homeless crisis, but to find a solution to eradicate it. That is my goal because the well-being of everybody is what I strive for. I've always helped people in my life. I don't do that for the money. I want this issue to be resolved. That is
So
it.
you have so I know I did play a little I did have a conversation with you earlier in the week, and we did a little blur about it, and I did ask about, did you get anything from Donald Trump as yet?
No, not from
Okay.
Donald Trump. I can say openly, I was contacted by both party, the Republican as well as the Democratic Party. So it's getting traction, but I have to tell you, it takes you and I and all of us. And
Yes.
it takes a village to put our voices out there and make it heard. Because in the end, this is not about me making money. What I've done is zero, like I said earlier, and I'm planning to continue making zero. But I do want accountable people. How is it that I contact the director of homelessness in California who promised me she will contact me and then does not do anything? How is it? And I think the fact that Americans from either affiliation, Democrat, liberal, Republican, everyone is very upset because we, as regular individual Americans, we don't feel that we are being heard. And you see many people taking decision for something they have no clue how to fix it. So I'm asking for a chance to our governor of California, our president, because these are powerful people that can move. If they call the CEO of United Airlines, where funny enough their motto is "good leads the way,"
Yeah.
they, on their website, they have a toggle where you can donate easily for carbon offset for the environment? What about another little toggle for you to donate immediately for the cause? Whatever you want to call it, giverroof.org or save homelessness created by the government by all means. But we need to be a little bit more accountable, have a viable solution, and make it happen. And none of that has been happening. And as you've heard probably on the news, after 6 years of squandering billions, it only got worse. It means it's not working. There is no getting better. And today people are saying, but we don't see many of the homeless. Yeah, because encampments have been removed. Otherwise, cities would be penalized for it. So, like I said, out of sight, out of mind. And
Yes,
and
yes.
they live under the bridges. And that's so
And
sad.
and by the way, what about those who say the companies want those points, the points, the loyalty points, and so on? What about companies who say they want those persons who say they want those points? They want the points to expire. It's not lost. It didn't disappear. The companies won't want to do it because it will hurt their bottom lines. How
Yeah.
do you respond to such skepticism that corporations won't and airlines
Well,
won't do this?
I'll tell you right away. If you know your points are expiring, what are you waiting for to transfer them? Duh. I mean, I'm sorry. If you know
Yeah,
you're not going to pay your
yeah.
power and lights, you know it's going to be cut off. You have an expiration date. You should be aware of it. It's up to you to make the decision. But again, it falls through a system where one, you should be made aware of it that your points are about to expire, or you simply want to donate them. So the choice is up to you because loyalty points are here to stay. Even 1 or 2 months ago, I saw Martha Stewart talking to a podcast saying that now, even through points, you could pay your rent. It's a new way of going. Again, they're there to stay, these points. No, people are fearful. No, they're not going to remove those loyalty points because that's what creates loyalty. Period. There's a way to
Well,
say
you just answered my. I was just about to ask because somebody said that. What about what? How do you plan to sustain this? Because what if airlines or hotels change the terms of service? What then? What's the backup plan? How do you make this sustainable and secure against sudden corporate policy shifts if they're no longer going to be use those points and so on? And so you
again, my first answer would be, uh, you know, marketing. If you know that you are able to do so easily transferred in one click points that somewhat has a value to help someone else's, it's the same as you helping cats and dogs and providing and getting a free t-shirt by paying $11 a month. So at the end of the day, awareness is important. The ability to use the points you currently have. And I understand people have fear that all of a sudden the airlines points will remove that, but they have to understand that this is a multi-billion dollar programs that they have and that they will never remove because they need loyalty. That's how they fill their seats or hotels fills their room, period. So there is no such fear to have because once those points are yours, even you receive them today you can transfer them if you want to. No one pushes you to do so either. So I always say to people, if you don't want to transfer them, don't do it. You don't have to let me know on next about it either. I'm not saying you should, and I'm not saying you only have to wait until those points expires either. It's like a management, a portfolio of crypto. You have X amount of XRP and you have X amount of Bitcoin. You want to give one, you give one away. I'm just saying, this will always be used for the good. And at the end of the day, right now, and I can tell you right now, if we do this program 2 to 3 years and it goes federally, that is the reason why I'm trying to reach also the president or anyone like United Airlines, because I cannot just make it California. It has to be for the entire United States. And giverroof.org is set up for the entire United States. Now, what I need to do is plug in each and every single one and make sure that they're connected with giverroof.org.
yeah.
But I need people that can pick up the phone and call the CEO of United Airlines and get their okay and help them to also match donations from people that are willing to give so it become a social effort. It
Well,
can
this
be.
is it. I was you were answering another question. I was just about to ask you. We're making the comment that it seems, based on what you're saying, instead of instead of taxing people to provide these programs, then people can then use their loyalty points. Then it becomes a partnership between companies and the citizenry. Okay, between the people and the companies and the federal government as well. But it will become a partnership
It
between all
becomes a
these individuals.
social awareness with
Yeah.
a common goal to eradicate homelessness so that we build towards a brand new America where everybody has a roof over their head and making the industry work and sustainable for all and bring respect also to everyone. Like I said, if you go to LA and you go to certain area and you see kids on the street, you wonder in which country we live in. But that is the reality. And some of them are also, I'm aware of that, some of them are not willing to accept that as a reality. I don't, but it's there. I have to make it relevant because it exists in our own country. It's not like what you find in Africa and other, we all have a history of all of
Yeah.
that, right? But again, remember USA for Africa, Michael Jackson and all the groups singing, making money, donate those donations went for food,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'm just saying it comes down to the same. We can be negative about it, or we can think about all the goods that we can do
I have
to
one last question, because we're almost out of time, but I have one last question. Again, for those of us who are joining us, this is the Neoliberal Round podcast, and YouTube channel. It's not available on the podcast or YouTube yet, but we are live on Facebook. So Facebook viewers, you get to see it first. And everybody else get to see it Sunday. We'll fix it up and it will be available Sunday. But we're speaking with Claudio Bono. Claudio Bono, who has an innovative and bold new idea or plan to solve or to end homelessness. And we've been talking for almost an hour. And we have one last question for Mr. Bono, from our listeners. What about pay it forward? Is there a way to build in a system where people who benefit from Give a Roof can give back through miles, mentoring, or volunteerism?
all of that, yes. The goal here, and this is a cry for help for all Americans that can listen to this. Go to my X account at Bono Claudio or go to and like the post and share it. We want our officials to be aware that this is an opportunity and together we can come and fix this and eradicate this social issue. And thanks to the donation of what we currently have, whether it's cash, whether it's miles or hotel points, it becomes a movement and the sky is the limit and we can fix so many issues. I truly believe that. And we can be the voice of the voiceless, the homeless.
Wow, we will. And that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much. You
Thank
heard,
you.
yes, you heard the vision, the backlash, the facts, and the fire. Is Claudio Bono a disruptor with a real shot at transforming how we fund solutions to homelessness? Or is this just another utopian blueprint lost in corporate red tape? Whatever you decide, or whatever your verdict, one thing's for sure: we need more bold ideas and fewer tired excuses. Okay. Um,
Agree.
so, Claudia, thank you for joining us. Where can people learn more about you and your initiative?
Definitely follow me on Twitter, on X at Bono Claudio. You can go on Instagram at CB in Silicon Valley. Join forces. And obviously, I'm on LinkedIn. You can Google me as well. I'm only here to help and unify us to fight this together. It's really my vision. But it takes a village, like I said. No fear, just opportunities.
And just so you know, Claudio Bono, he has 11 years working in nonprofits or volunteering. He is a hotel executive managing a group of hotels. He's a city commissioner, very involved in California. And we just want to say thank you so much for coming to the show.
No,
We're going Yes, we're gonna follow up with you probably in a couple more in a probably 30 days. You can come back and we'll have him back on the show. Follow up, what's up, what's going on in terms of with giverroof.org and Claudio Bono. Please come back on the show. Let's know what's going on. And if Donald Trump is watching, or anybody from his team, please reach out to Claudio Bono. And again, can you give us? And I know people on Facebook are watching. Sorry, and watching. And do you have a Facebook page?
No, I don't actually.
No,
Oh,
he does not. So if you want to know about him, you have to visit my page, okay?
there
And
you go.
and we're going to be posting some stuff on the Neoliberal. I'm Renaldo McKenzie of the Neoliberal Round podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. And visit. We're going to also publish this as an article in the Neoliberal journals at the neoliberal.com and the Neoliberal post at renaldocmckenzie.com. This will be available on YouTube at Renaldo McKenzie, and it will be available on all podcast streams, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, so on and so forth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good. Bye-bye, Claudio. Keep in touch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.